Well, hey folks, it's March the 11th, Monday, and I'm out here in the shop working on the wow, this is hard to say, working on the Ironhead. I got the street glide covered up over there. I got the shovel head all cleaned up and ready to rip and roar. Got the boat ready to go fishing hopefully tomorrow. I got my shop, got one more wall built on my shop there, and I got me a big long, let's see, 1, 2, 3, got 26 feet, I think it is, 25 feet of workbench built. And then I'm going to start on this Ironhead that I went and bought yesterday. It's 1976 XLH, I think it is. Ironhead, Sportster Ironhead. And I started piddling with it a little bit last night. Went today and got the registration done on it. So I wanted to, before I started tearing anything apart, I wanted to make sure I could actually get the bike legally on the road. So I got that worked out. So did a little bit last night, just piddling around. And I pressure washed it yesterday afternoon after I got back with it. But as you can see, I took off the chain guard back here. Nice little, cute little, I guess it is, chain guard. But got that off of there, and the oil cooler is up here. I'm not sure if I'll run that or not. I took that off of my shovel head, but we'll see. And so I took the carburetor off today during lunch. Looks pretty nice and clean. Hadn't got the flashlight down in there to see what it looks like inside the head. We'll see that in a minute. The oil cooler here is still full of oil. But what I did during lunch today after I got that carburetor off is I went in here, and this has got the Super B carburetor. And I've never really worked on a Super B before. We're going to give it a try. I think it's kind of neat. I'm not sure, I hadn't never even seen one before myself, so it'd be kind of nice to put this one back on the road. F4570 is the model, I guess, of it. And so what I did is I went ahead and didn't have a kit for this thing, obviously, since I just got the bike yesterday. But I went ahead and took the bowl off, cleaned out all the jets, got all the gunk. I mean, it was like tar in the bottom of that thing. Got all that cleaned up and cleaned all the jets out, cleaned up the air mixture adjustment right there. I'm just gonna put it on there like it is now, and if I can get the bike to fire and seem like it might run, I may order a kit for this carburetor. This rubber O-ring right here is about to smash. It's about as flat as it could be, so I know I need one of those. But I'll buy a kit for it, I think, and I'll put this in the ultrasonic cleaner and get it completely clean. But I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try to I'm going to get that carburetor back on the bike. And I've got another ignition switch. I may try to wire it up. I think the old one was right here somewhere, so I might put it in there. And then I think I'm going to go take the battery out of my lawnmower, shove it in this hole right here, and get it hooked up. And then can't use the gas tank. It is completely unusable in my opinion. So I think what I'll do is I'll run me a hose down here to this carburetor and tie wrap me a funnel up here somehow to get some gas down in this carburetor and spin it over and see if I can at least get it to fire off and do something. If it'll do that, then I feel pretty confident I can take the motor apart and get in there and check everything, make sure I've got good rings and good compression, and get it running. So at that point I'll start taking some stuff apart. But anyway, last time I worked on my shovel head, did that project, I promised to do a better job of recording, so that's what I'm going to try to do on this one. I'm going to try to do a good job of recording, taking things apart, anything kind of along the way that I need to rebuild, like, you know, the rocker boxes, or redoing the heads and the valve seals, all that kind of stuff. We try to do a better job this time of recording. So this is where I'm at right now. I've got the carburetor set up, ready to go. I'm going to try to see if I got another gasket like this one right here before I try to put it on there, but I'll get the camera set up and install the carburetor, and then get it set up on the tripod and see if I can get some gas poured down in the bowl and see if we can get this thing to fire off. So I'll put y'all on pause for a minute and get everything ready, and I'll be right back with y'all. One of the things I forgot to mention is I got this S&S Super B carburetor. I'm going to look for me a new O-ring to go on the back of that where it mounts up to the intake. And so hopefully I can find one in my S&S Super E box here. And if this carburetor here doesn't seem to want to work for me, like I said, I've never tuned on them, never worked on one, then I'll come into here and I'll put this guy on there, the Super E carburetor. I think when I took this off of my shovel head, there was something odd about one of these springs on, I think it was right down in there. Anyway, a spring was not like I wanted it, so I just ordered another one. So if the Super B won't work, which I hope it will, I'll put this Super E on there and rejet it, and hopefully that'll work for me. Alright, we're getting ready to try to fire this thing for the first time, I'm guessing in probably 40 years. Last time it was registered was in the state of Florida, and I think the tag says 83. So that's about 40 years. So anyway, I got me some gasoline. I'm going to pour into the carburetor through a little funnel since I can't use the gas tank. I'll show y'all what I got here. So I got me a carburetor put back on. I got me a hose up to a little funnel right here. I got me a little jug of gasoline down there. I got my fire extinguisher ready. I got my little oil catch bucket down here for when it sumps all the oil out of it. Got that ready to catch. And a couple screwdrivers in case I need to adjust something, just in case it does happen to crank up, which I don't think it will. I'm just looking for it to fire. We'll be ready. So let's start by just see if I can get it, if my wiring is good. Okay, it's spinning over. Turn that back on once we get some gas in her. Oh, that's awesome. Now it's leaking out of here. I guess I got to clean that up before I try to fire it, because I don't want to start a fire out here. So I'm going to pause y'all. I'll be right back. Okay, take two. Got the gasoline cleaned up, and it's holding gas up here, which means the bowl should be full. It's not leaking out of my bowl, which is good. Can't really, the throttle's not hooked up, so I'm going to give it some squirts right here. I don't know if this thing even has an accelerator pump on it. We're going to choke it and see what happens. Alright, let's see. If this don't work, I may have to spray something in there. Got her choked. Woo! It fires. Well, I think it may be more draw than this little lawnmower battery I have can do. Yep. But she did fire, so I know it'll run. Let me get this battery back off of here now and get it back on the charger so I can try it again next time, I guess. Well, after much fighting, I have finally got the daggum seat off of this thing. This thing here, whoever put this thing on the back of that bike is a freaking genius. And I don't know how in the heck they got it in there, but they did. Probably took them longer to get it in there than it did for me to take it out, though, I guess. So anyway, we got the crappy old fender off of there. Surprisingly, the back wheel looks like it's pretty well centered. And back here we got our circuit breakers and stuff that's going to be going bye-bye. And these struts are going to go bye-bye right here. These shocks are going to go bye-bye. The swing arm's going to go bye-bye. The oil tank's going to go bye-bye. And I think I have to get the hardtail kit and see how all this stuff lines up. I gotta have a battery in there since this cranks electrically. So I think that's what I'm gonna call that for tonight. But boy, this thing is rough. Look at all this rust on these shocks, which it don't really matter, but y'all saw me earlier. I tried to fire this thing and it did fire. I saw some sparks come out the front exhaust and I saw some smoke come out the rear exhaust, so we got something happening in both cylinders. Not sure if the timing's right or not. I might not even had enough current out of that little battery to make it fire off. But and the gas tank, got it off too. I didn't mention that. Got it off, and I thought it was rusted all the way through to the frame from what I could see inside there, but it's not. It's really just the sorry for the shaking light. I'm trying to shaking camera, but I'm trying to get this tripod folded up right here. But anyway, had that liner in there, the same as my shovel head. Had a problem. It came loose, and so I got all of it out of there I could. Man, that's checking y'all around. But anyway, I got all of that out of there I could. Shook it out. A lot of rusty bits coming out of there. And I poured some about a half a gallon of vinegar in there. So I'll probably let that sit in there overnight, and may even throw me a bunch of nuts and bolts in there to shake it up with. I'm not sure if that liner will come all the way out of there or not. I don't know if it'll dissolve or what. I know you can put some muriatic acid in there and make that work, maybe, to get the rust out of it. But then you got to do something to treat it. But anyway, we'll look into that. But I'd actually kind of like to see if I could reuse this tank. I think it's the original tank from Harley. So if I can make it work, I'm going to try to reuse it. But anyway, I think well, it's only 6:15. I might work a little bit more. Whew. We'll have to, when I finally get to it, I'm going to have to do something about sandblasting these heads. They're pretty rusty, but I think the sandblaster will take all that off of there, I think. Then I'll paint them. This is the generator up here. Works off of one of the cams over there or something, and it basically is an alternator. But this thing is pretty rusty. I'm not sure if that's a cover, if I can replace the cover or not, but anyway. And then in here is the primary. No, let's see. Yeah. This will be the primary in here where the clutches are. I haven't been in there yet. I did play around with some steel wool right there yesterday. And that is shining up. But I probably, if I get my hands on a little simple, cheap sandblaster, I might sandblast this aluminum. And then do my sanding, you know, the hand sanding stuff on it, and then do the polishing. I think that'll come out real nice. I can order new stickers for it right there. I did see that they had one, instead of saying Sportster, it says Ironhead on it. I'll probably go with that. And this is a weird deal right here. This is your gear shifter. Down, up, you know, this kind of stuff. This rubber's completely going off the end of here. But I got another one of those that I took off the shovel head. And what it does, it comes all the way back here and it goes down and goes all the way to the other side of the bike to shift the clutch somehow. But anyway, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I'm not sure exactly what this is. This is probably a voltage regulator maybe. And this is the battery box that looked like it was in really bad shape when I first got it, but I sprayed it down with some of that rust, not rust preventer, but rust converter. So that can be cleaned up, I guess, but I probably won't reuse it since I'm going to go with a hardtail. And I sprayed some WD-40 on the head bolts. Probably need to spray them down with some PP Blaster. And here's the coil up here. It was underneath the tank. So I'm not sure what to do next. I did see it fire. So either it was not enough current to make it fire enough, or I didn't have enough gas in it. The carburetor may not work. So tomorrow I'll just keep piddling with taking stuff off that doesn't affect the cranking of it at all, because I still want to try to get it cranked a little bit more and see what I'm working with. But I can do stuff with the front fender and the brakes and that kind of stuff until I get me another battery. It's got more cold cranking amps. But anyway, just having a grand old time. This is what you call fun. It beats hanging out in the bars drinking all night, I guess. Maybe not. Well, I got to get another one of these because this master cylinder is completely stuck. It's aluminum, so it'll polish back up, but I may just see about getting another one on there. And I'm also interested in this fork tube right here. Don't look too bad, but this one over here, for some reason, is pitted up pretty bad. So I don't know if that can be cleaned up with the steel wool or not. But we'll find it out. Take this fender off. And a 1976 bike that still has reflectors on the front. How about that, boys? And I also learned yesterday that the Sportsters, instead of using chrome wheels, they used aluminum wheels, front and back, so they would be lighter. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. This is, I think it's, I don't remember if it's an 18 or a 19, but it's not a 21. And the actual forks look okay. I mean, the spokes look okay. These tighteners, adjusters here are all bad. And it's even got some spoke weights on there to balance out the tires. How about that? And this up here looks a little rough, but it might come out with some steel wool. This thing up here, it may go bye-bye, I'm not sure. And it's got a neat little tiny light on there. So yeah, having a good time. I got the birds happy out here. They're fed up with bird seed. Look at it. And I got my workbench cleaned up a little bit here. And hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna get the boat out, go down there and try to catch me some. Maybe I have to fish for some largemouth. As bad as I hate to say that, but it might be what I do. But anyway, I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye. All right, y'all, this is going to be take 2. We're trying to crank this bike up. I took that Super B carburetor off of there. Don't know much about that, and then it didn't have a accelerator pump on it, which I want. So I went into my old Super E. Came off the shovel head 2 or 3 years ago. Went through it and took a look. Changed the jets on it to about what I thought a Sportster might need. So I got that changed out. And just put some gas in it. It was dripping out to overflow a little bit, so the float might have been stuck, but it looks like it may have stopped. And let's see, got a brand new battery in it that I got yesterday. So hopefully that'll spin it over real nice. And see, I got gas, new battery, and a good carburetor on it. So we're gonna see if we can at least get it to fire and at least try to run a little bit. If it tries to run a little bit, I'll be satisfied that tearing it down and getting the carburetor right and all that stuff will work. And if I can get it to run, then I'll move forward on it. But here we go. I got my gasoline sitting here for a little bit extra. Got my fire extinguisher right here. I need me a little flathead. To do some adjusting on the Super E if I need to. But we're gonna give it a go. Let's see. Got ignition. And let's see. Still dripping out the overflow a little bit. We're gonna go with it anyway. Let's see. Got ignition. We're gonna give it some few squirts. And I'm gonna pull up the enricher. Hold it all. Well. Alright, I'm a dummy. Not used to this starter button up here on the handlebars. We're going to go to start and we're going to pull up the enricher and let's see what happens here. Fired. Here now. There we go. How about that, boys? Ironhead. Ironhead, baby. Not even smoking. Woo! I got oil coming back to the tank. I got smoke coming all off all the pipes where I sprayed all that PB blaster all over everything, all over the heads to get them head bolts loose. See if anything else is ready. Quit sumping down here too. Quit sumping's got one little drop. Anything happening over here? Heads are burning off all that PB blaster I sprayed all over everything. No problem. And I'm just happy that it runs at a halfway idle. And we'll put this filter back in there and try to crank it up again since it's halfway warm and see how it does. It took off with me when I first cranked it up, but I guess I had the idle set screw here a little bit too much. Let's see, let's try it one more time here, live action. Put some gas in the gas tank here, and we switch her on over here. Still on already. I'm gonna give her a crank. That is too cool. Man, that is too cool. I put the Super E carburetor on there that I took off the shovel a couple 2 or 3 years ago, and I put a new Super E on that girl there. So I put this one on there. I'm waiting on a new spring here for the throttle return. Got my gas tank up here. Got the fender and seat off of it, and now I just got to let all this PB blaster and stuff burn off of these heads that I sprayed all over there. The generator, surprisingly enough, if I gave it a little bit of throttle, it was showing it idle. The generator light would come on just a little bit. But if I gave it a little bit of a little bit of throttle, that light will go off, so it may be charging. So man, I am tickled with that. That means I can go ahead and move forward. I did take a peek down in the spark plug holes and saw a lot of carbon buildup in there, so I at least will probably shoot. I'll probably end up just taking the whole motor out and doing everything. But I am tickled to death with what it just did. So I'm going to keep working on the old girl. This is going to be a long project because I don't want to go fast. I got all summer long now to ride this street glide over here and this shovel head. And I need to do more riding instead of wrenching. So tickled again with the progress. I can now start thinking about what I want to do. I know I'm going to... I had an initial thoughts. I think this is a Liberty edition or Bicentennial edition. At one point I thought, well, maybe, you know what, I'll just try to put it back just like it came from the factory, possibly. But I don't know. on a hardtail bike. So I'm thinking about I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and cut that frame off and hardtail it, and then I probably will keep these back wheels, front wheel, back wheel. They're aluminum that they put on these bikes. I don't know if it was just a Sportster thing or if it was specific to this particular special edition bike. I don't know. But I'll probably keep the wheels, relace them with spokes, and I'm not sure if I'll keep the fender on the front or not. It looks kind of cool, but have to see. Supposedly, if it's a Liberty edition, then you just can't tell if it's got the sparkle in it or not after all these years. But tickled to death. So I'm gonna keep working on it. Hopefully I'll do a better job of recording all this stuff so I can make a good video out of it. But anyway, guys, that's probably gonna be it for me today. I am tickled to death. I mean, you're beyond tickled. This thing will actually fire and run after all this time. As bad as it looks, rough as it looks, once they got a decent carburetor on it and got some gas in the cylinders, that ran pretty doggone good. So